still on the field.
That was a very delayed call there from the officials. We didn't see any flag until Casilli got into the end zone.
So a shotgun snap now for Cortez. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Cortez looks left, has time, floats it over the middle, and it's right through the hands and caught! Unbelievable, and going all the way for the touchdown is number 5, Angelo Korcher. It'll go down as a 36-yard touchdown. Cortez dropped, threw it over the middle. It went through the hands of Connor Peterson, the intended receiver, and right into the hands of Angelo Korcher. Have you ever seen anything like that, Rob?
I have never. Well, maybe in the NFL about 100 years ago. But
With
I have never seen
replays.
that. Yeah, I've never seen that live, and that's absolutely insane for Peterson. I'm sure he wants that one back, but he'll definitely take the touchdown as Korcher was right there. Great awareness from him to stay with that football and eventually carrying it into the end zone.
I mean, that was a dart from Jake Cortez.
It was.
About
bullet.
20 yards in the air, right through the hands of Peterson and literally right into the hands of Korcher. And he rumbles for 10 more yards into the end zone, on for the extra point, and up and good on the connection for Zach Sepich. We're tied at 7 in a crazy play there to knot it up for Peters Township, 7-7 with 10:28 remaining. We'll be right back as you're listening and watching to 2017 football here on the MSA Sports Network.
Make Chick-fil-A Robinson your destination for a fast and tasty breakfast. Chick-fil-A Robinson offers a variety of breakfast sandwiches, including sausage, bacon, or, of course, chicken. Breakfast is served hot and fresh daily, featuring our handmade biscuits. Need to feed a crowd or a tailgate on Sunday? Chick-fil-A Robinson Catering has got you covered with hot or reheatable chicken trays. Visit our catering website at www.cfarobinsoncaters.com to book your business or social event today. Chick-fil-A Robinson Catering. We deliver.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, Cory Campano with Rob McKinney, Jess Levo handling the video duties here tonight, which are up and running. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the game, but we are all set, and we've got a great one on hand, 7-all, as Peters Township has just tied it. And now for the kickoff, it's booted deep, fielded inside the 5-yard line and up across the 20. And getting smacked there with the football was the Bethel Park Upman. Flag came in late behind the play, normally signaling a holding call, and running that back that time was John Deleno.
And to go back to that touchdown from Cortez to Korcher that was off the hands of Peterson, TJ Plack talked about Korcher and said that he was Mr. Hustle, one of the strongest kids on the team, getting some D2 looks defensively, and you could tell that he's strong because he had the strong hands to get that pass that still had some velocity on it since it was off the hands of Peterson into the hands of Korcher, as he was able to bring it in by his fingertips and travel into the end zone. What an exciting play. We're tied up at 7. That penalty is going to be called on Bethel Park, so now they're pushed back deeper around the 10-yard line.
Inside the 10-yard line to be official. It was a holding call. And it is Bethel Park back on offense. Tied at 7 from Peters Township High School. 10:21 left in the second quarter. Luke Serenas will go in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 2 men in the backfield as well to the left of Serenas. Snap there. It'll be a bubble screen out to the left, caught by Deleno, and a flag thrown right where he caught the ball. Probably a block in the back there, Rob. What'd you see?
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. I saw Aiden McCall flying up from Peters Township and just get absolutely leveled before making the tackle, making the play, having a chance to make the play. And the officials are having a conclave now here on the near side.
Yeah, and then now Peters Township motioning to their bench, and look at TJ Black immediately signaling decline that call because there was no yards gained. Deleno caught it but still had nowhere to go. That stick is marked right at the line of scrimmage, so this is going to be a penalty declined, and he actually lost a yard back to the 7, and it'll be 2nd and 11 for Bethel Park. Don't forget to tune into This Week in the WPIAL on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Join us as we visit with some of the top WPIAL coaches, plus we preview Week 3 of the WPIAL football season. Serenas will go back under center for Bethel Park, 2nd and 11. Single back set, that's Deleno behind him. Give is to Deleno. Off the left side, he bounces it towards the middle, shakes off a tackler, and he almost broke free. but he does get a nice chunk of yardage out to the 20-yard line and a first down called, a gain of 13.
And after he broke through that first level of the defense, he was past the second and now into the secondary, and the safety Majeski for Peters Township, the shoestring tackle, saved a touchdown because there was solid blocking on the outside, and there was really a whole bunch of room to run. And if it wasn't for Majeski, that would have been 6.
Beautiful run. And that was actually Volpatti that had the carry. And Volpatti will get it again off to the left side, bounces it left near the sideline, gets upfield, and is shoved out of bounds by McCall, but not before another nice gain. And another first down for Bethel Park. And that is Delano, I apologize. 21 and 27 are Delano and Volpatti. Look extremely similar in the backfield, and that's John Delano that gets 10 more yards.
And these running backs are quick, aren't they? I mean, they can.
Very.
They're going right up the middle, and they have the wherewithal and the patience, the poise to bounce it out to the outside. They have the quickness to beat the defenders there. And once they hit the outside, they gain 3 or 4 yards.
Serenas, under center, I-form set. Gives to the back man, and coming through the hole and hit hard, but bouncing it outside and getting positive yardage is Delano. He was hit at the line of scrimmage, but just bounced off it, went to the right side, and gained 3. That ball will be placed at the 34-yard line, so actually a 4-yard gain on a great effort from John Delano. Some substitutions coming in now for Bethel Park. Volpatti goes in the backfield. Delano goes split wide. There's 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Serenas in the gun. Sidecar to the left is Volpatti. He now motions to the right. Serenas, option that way, nowhere to go. He's just going to have to keep the ball and fall forward. Does get up to the 35-yard line to gain 1. Good pursuit that time by the Indians, as it's going to be 3rd and 5 for Bethel Park.
Yeah, they're handling this run game pretty well, and I thought that would be a weak spot for Peters Township. I thought they would have a lot more struggles with it. Occasionally we'll see a big gain, but it's really not that big of a gain. It's around 9 or 10 yards at most for Bethel Park offensively running the football. We've seen them have some issues running right up the middle, which I thought that was going to be their strongest link tonight.
I-form set again, receiver each way for Serenas. Big conversion attempt here for the Blackhawks. Serenas, play action, 2-step drop, floats it out to the right side, has a man, caught at the 40, across the 45-50, down the right sideline, inside the 40 of Peters Township, and brought down hard is the receiver, number 34, Luke Matola.
And that was just a great individual effort from Matola, the fullback with some speed, with some tenacity, showing the grit down that far sideline, put his head down and gained serious yardage, breaking a few would-be tacklers. But Peters Township, they were expecting run on that play. Did not know that was going to be a pass. Nobody was near Matola on the far sideline, and a very easy gain for him. It would have been a first down. He got a lot more thanks to his yards after the catch ability.
31-yard gain to the 34-yard line of Peters Township. Serenas now a bubble screen to the left. Delano with the catch across the 30. Breaks a tackle and is brought down around the 28-yard line. But again, nice chunk of yardage. Call it 7 on the completion from Serenas to Delano.
And what I'm noticing is that these running backs, you hit them once and you fall off them. Even the guys that are 5'6", maybe 5'7", 5'8", and you just can't seem to wrap them up. It takes about 2 or 3 tacklers to come in and finally make the play. And when that happens, those running backs are able to gain 1 or 2 yards. It may not seem like a lot, but it does matter when you're short yardage looking for the first down.
Sidecar to the left is Volpatti, and he gets the carry and rumbles up the middle, a cut towards the left hash, and he gets big yardage to the 16-yard line, a big gain of 11 yards. And this running back tandem for Bethel Park is something special with John Delano and Tanner Volpatti. That time it was Volpatti, 11-yard gain, and with 6 minutes and 41 seconds left in this first half, Bethel Park is in the red zone. Serenas with 3 receivers to the left, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Serenas, QB draw, keeps it up the middle. Nice chunk of yardage, and he runs over a linebacker and falls down at the 11. But a gain of 5, and boy, Rob, didn't look like a quarterback on that play.
No, he didn't. He looked like one of the running backs, shedding a couple tacklers, putting his head down. You got to love that if you're a coach. And yes, if you have a really star quarterback who's great in the pocket, especially at the collegiate professional level, you want them to slide down. However, I'm always a fan of putting your head down, putting your shoulder down, and gaining those extra yards as a quarterback, because in high school football, if you run the football, the quarterback is almost one of your strongest points in that.
Sarunas will fake the give and now give it to Volpatti. Volpatti running over tacklers all the way into the end zone. He broke 4 tackles down the left side and goes for an 11-yard touchdown. Tanner Volpatti has given the Bethel Park Blackhawks a 13-7 lead.
And there's that running game that I said was going to shine at some point, was stopped earlier on by Peters Township. However, they at that point I think were just worn out. All their tacklers had been making plays but couldn't bring down the running backs that entire drive. They were tired, and they just seemed like they were defeated towards the end. Volpatti with that second and third effort to force his way into the end zone.
Extra point up right down the middle on the kick from Gummo. And it's 14-7, Bethel Park, 5:49 to go left in the first half. We'll take a break and be back for the Peters Township Drive as you are listening and watching 2017 WPIAL football, only here on the MSA Sports Network.
Who showed you how to get to Sesame Street and took you to visit Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? WQED. And now, WQED and PBS Learning Media can help you travel through space, get an up-close look into Vietnam, and be in the front row of a Broadway show. In collaboration with local school districts, community organizations, and local libraries, WQED continues to create experiences that remake learning for students, teachers, and lifelong learners. For more info, visit WQED.org and begin your adventure.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, Cory Campano, Rob McKinney's with me, Jess Levo on camera. Bethel Park taking the lead on an 11-yard Tanner Volpatti touchdown run. It is 14-7 with 5:49 remaining in this first half. Been an exciting game here, back and forth between Peters and Bethel Park. Two teams that we thought would be evenly matched up at the start of this, number 3 and 6, respectively, in the MSA Sports rankings. Bethel 3, Peters 6. Peters Township 2-0 coming in, Bethel Park 1-0. Here on week 2 on the MSA Sports Network. John Gummo, pooch kick on the kickoff, and it is fielded inside the 25. And rumbling to the outside with some room across the 40 is the up man Clayton Scott. And don't really get to see the skill players on these kickoffs for Peters Township return, Rob, because Bethel Park has decided to just pooch it and not let a big play affect them.
Yeah, however, there was a decent gain there from Clayton Scott, Clayton and Tanner Scott, twins on this Peters Township team, both seniors, and they have some athletic ability, and these are some guys that are quick. You may see them on offense from time to time, both the linebackers defensively, one on the right, one on the left.
And in the gun again is Jake Cortez on the field. Option play to the right. He pitches it out to Williams. Williams across the 40, but we're going to get a holding call right in front of us. We are right at the Peters Township 40-yard line, and a holding call will be made against Josh Casilli, the wide receiver for Peters Township, push him back 10.
Yeah, Casilli got in trouble because he just held on a little bit too long once the running back was coming on right behind him. He's trying to plead his case. He cannot. However, that one was pretty blatant. We saw it. The entire fans right in front of us saw it, and pretty much every official that has a flag threw one out. And it's going to hurt you a lot if you're Peters Township. You get pushed back quite some, and following a return that really helped you out. You had some favorable position, field position. You're at the 41-yard line, and now you're pushed all the way back to around the 32.
And remember, they had that penalty last drive on a 4th and 1 where they scored a touchdown, but they luckily scored the very next play on kind of a fluke play, a ball that deflected off of Connor Peterson right to Angelo Korcher, and he scored 36 yards later. 1st and 20 from their own 32. Aiden McCall goes in motion. They'll give it to him on the jet sweep. McCall down the left sideline. He's got room, and he's knocked out of bounds hard, but not after a great chunk of yardage up to the 45-yard line, 13-yard gain, and that is how you make up for a penalty.
Yeah, Coach Black was saying how excited he was about some of these younger wide receivers, Aiden McCall in particular. He's got some good size, not the tallest guy, but he's physically built. He's got a ton of speed. He had that end around, continuing that east-west movement with the football. Got on the near side, worked far side, saw some room on the far sideline, busted his way up, well past the original line of scrimmage. Now it's 2nd down and very manageable.
2nd and 5, so they actually called a gain of 15. Cortez will give to Majewski. Off the left side, huge hole there. Across the 35-40. Inside the 35 and knocked down in the secondary after a great run off the left side by Ryan Majewski. Huge chunk of yards, 21 to be exact, all the way to the 34. And boy, ever since that holding call, Rob, Peters just turned it up a little bit.
So what you're saying is they need to commit a penalty.
Yeah, well, look what happened last drive as well. I guess that's their MO.
Well, Majewski, he came up right to the line of scrimmage, right between the A-gap, B-gap, right between the center and guard, kind of got a lower center of gravity, had some room towards the far side, saw it, used his patience, and with good speed and good blocking was able to get 21 yards.
In the gun, sidecar to the left is Williams. He'll get the handoff from Cortez and hop over the line of scrimmage there. A couple guys on the ground as he falls forward for a gain of 3. Went from the 34 to the 31. And with 4.5 minutes to go here in this second quarter, Peters Township down 7. Trying to score and tie this up. They'll have 2nd and 6. Cortez gets the call from the sideline. Receiver to the right, 2 to the left. And Williams in the backfield with him. Cortez sends Aiden McCall in motion. He'll give it to him on the jet sweep to the right side. McCall bounces it towards the middle, spins across a tackler, but then he is walloped. A huge hit there from number 74, James Gamitter. Rob's talked about him a lot here today, and he laid the lumber on Aiden McCall that time.
Yeah, some size difference. Under 6 foot Aiden McCall, standing in at 6'4", 230 plus. You have Gamitter, and he's a D1 talent on either side of the ball, you could really say. And he came in and leveled the boom. However, a good gain there from McCall, and now 3rd down and 2. This is great position here for the Peters Township Indians.
3rd and 2, as Rob said, from the 26-yard line. 3.5 on the clock here in the second quarter. Cortez with Williams to his right, gives to him. Williams chugs forward across the 25. Does he have enough? Well, it'll all depend on the spot. Far side official seems to think he was a half-yard short, but where that ball is spotted is just there, so it'll be 4th and inches. 3rd and 2, he got about 1.5. And this another situation for Peters Township, this 4th and short. They've had 3 times in this game.
And now they send in another wide receiver. That time it's Luke Mary who's going to come into the game. And Luke Mary, an interesting story. Didn't play football much growing up. He's a very talented wrestler and baseball player here for the Peters Township Indians. His brother Phil Mary was a great wrestler and baseball player. Attends Mount Union, was a great pitcher there, was Phil Mary. There still is. Still has a couple more years left, and for Luke Mary, as he's coming onto the field, and now they were trot off because we do have a timeout taken by Peters Township. Luke Mary, interesting story, just to tell you briefly. He came in August and talked to the coach and said, hey, listen, I'd like to play, and he's now seeing a lot of time on the field.
Interesting situation there for Mary, and I like the call here from TJ Plack. 2:52 left in the first half. He will call a timeout to think about this 4th and inches play. Reminder that coming up at the half, it's the MSA Sports halftime show. This week, Don Rebel and the Post-Gazette's Mike White look ahead to the WPIAL players to watch here in the 2017 football season. 14-7, Bethel Park with the lead. But Peters Township has the ball for a 4th and inches play from the 25-yard line in Bethel Park territory. I'm Cory Campano, Rob McKinney with me. Jess Levo on camera. It's your video stream game of the week here on the MSA Sports Network. Just week 2, but Rob, boy, it feels like we're off and running again already.
Oh, we are. There's been so many great games so far in the WPIAL. I'm really excited about this. There's a lot of talent team. It seems like the conferences between 1A and 6A are just so competitive.
Very close, I agree. Back on the field are the Indians now. Man in motion for the 4th and 1. Majewski gets the carry, and he falls forward. Should have plenty for the first down. Needed maybe a half yard. Looked like he got a full yard, and he did. Up to the 24-yard line. First down, Peters Township, and they go right to the bread and butter. That sidecar shotgun handoff to Ryan Majewski.
Yeah, Majewski's been all over the place, and when it hasn't worked up the middle, sometimes it hasn't. That time he didn't need to bounce it to the outside because he just needed a yard to convert the 4th down. However, we will see Majewski, the short, shifty individual that he is, athletic, fast. He'll go up to the line of scrimmage, and he won't be hesitant at all to bounce it to the outside. And that is their bread and butter. That's really what's been working for them, and it has set up the pass here. Would not be surprised if Cortez in this offense decides to go for a pass here on this play.
Cortez in the gun. Majewski will get the carry again up the middle. Bounces off a tackler, but then is hit hard after a short gain. And again, that man in the middle, Tiger Burks, makes the stop for Bethel Park. Third or fourth time we've said his name tonight.
Yeah, he's been all over the field, and he's the right linebacker, it seems like, now moving into the middle linebacker position, but he's able to work right to left. He can close in on these running backs and also can put a lot of pressure on Cortez the few times Cortez has decided to make a pass. Officials
timeout here. They're discussing something, and it was a helmet fix for Tiger Burks. We've got 2:01 left on the clock here, and it's 2nd and 8 from the 22-yard line for Peters Township. They're just outside the red zone. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Casilli by himself on the right side. Cortez drops, pressure in his face, has to get rid of it, and he smartly just throws it down straight into the ground. As a step away, maybe a half second away from a sack there was Gavin Vargesco. He was right in the face of Cortez, and it looked like Cortez actually took a little bit of a shot there, Rob.
He did, but mistake made there by Cortez. He didn't look to his left at all. He had Luke Mary wide open on the far side around the 25-yard line. He was just kind of creeping towards that far sideline. Nobody around him. Cortez didn't even take a glance over there.
3rd and 8 now. Tough conversion. Cortez looks to the left this time, now floats it over the middle, and it's caught but then hit hard. Right after making the catch was Casilli. And coming up to make that pop on the defensive side was Dan Kwiatkowski. After a short gain, flag flown in late.
Kwiatkowski, just an interesting fact about him, his brother, Nick, plays for the Chicago Bears and has played some serious minutes in the NFL.
Holding call against Peters Township. And instead of about a 4th and 4, Bethel Park will accept that penalty call and make it a 3rd and pretty long now. You went from 3rd and 8 to 4th and 4, and now this line of scrimmage will be pushed all the way back, it looks like, to the 40-yard line.
And if we're going based on pattern, possibly a big play forthcoming here for the Indians.
3rd and very, very long. 3rd and 25 up on the scoreboard. Timeout again taken by TJ Black and Peters Township. Their 2nd of the half. We'll keep it right here on the MSA Sports Network. Rob, what do you do here? You got 3rd and 25. You're on the 40. Probably a nice chunk of yardage going to be need to made here to be in field goal range. Is this a time where you go to Majewski, or you let Cortez let it fly here?
Well, that's an interesting question, mainly because when it was 2nd down and long before, they decided to go with an end around, and it did fool the defense. Maybe something to throw them off, and TJ Plack probably is in the huddle right now discussing options with them, saying, listen, we could try to throw them off. We could try to do something that they might expect, go with a deep pass. They do have Casilli. The connection, Cortez and Casilli, it has been strong so far in the early parts of the season. It has been strong in this game. We'll see if that's what they're going to go with. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to go with a check down or possibly a screen to Majewski and get him going.
I like that. I think no matter what, you've got to get the ball in a skilled player's hands here, whether that be early or lofting one deep. You got to make sure that you give yourselves a shot here. 1:42 left in this first half. Again, 14-7 in favor of Bethel Park. Cortez, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, in the gun. Majewski splits wide. Cortez, plenty of time, floats it over the middle, and it's intercepted. Tipped off the hands of McCall, and going the other way is Delano. Delano across the 40, across the 50. He's got one man to beat, he does. All the way down the sideline. Cortez trying to catch him inside the 10, all the way for a pick 6. It's John Delano. But there is a penalty marker way back at the 33-yard line in Bethel Park territory. That would have gone down as a 78-yard interception return. But I think this is coming back, Rob.
And the fans for Bethel Park reacting. Obviously exciting for them. They get that interception. And now it's coming back. And that was just tremendous individual effort, the determination by Delano after the pick to shed a couple tacklers, and he kind of made some individuals that you can tell clearly just play offense look very silly trying to come up and make the play. Yeah. However, this one's coming back, and for Cortez, I think that was just a forced throw. He felt the pressure, and TJ Black said how Cortez in the pocket, sometimes he does have happy feet. He gets a little nervous when he senses the pressure because his sophomore year, he got tackled a lot, and he got tackled hard. in the backfield. And that one, not a strong pass for him. However, it is fortunate for the Indians that is no longer a touchdown. It's coming way back here for the Bethel Park Blackhawks.
Right at that spot is going to – now I think they're measuring it out right here. No, that's where they'll place it. Okay, 23-yard line. Interception does stand. John Delano gets the pick. First turnover of the ball game for either team, and with 1:23 left, Bethel Park back on offense. Sarunas under center. Gives off the left side. That's Delano. Delano bounces it outside, cuts it inside the 30 and up to the 35 for a great run there. And I apologize. That's actually Javon Lewis, number 22, on the run. I was thinking to myself, how is Delano not out of breath and be able to have that run already? My fault, Javon.
We'll see with Bethel Park, so many different options in the backfield, and even an end around here. Now we have a timeout taken by Bethel Park, but listen, there's so many different weapons on offense for the Blackhawks. You never know who it's going to go to, and it's seemingly each player that it goes to, there's some good yards that result from that play.
Nice run by Lewis, and he got from the 23 to the 35, gain of 12. Bethel Park does call a timeout after that nice run. They've got a chance to set things up. They've got 2 timeouts remaining in this first half, and they're on their own 35 with a 7-point lead. Seen back and forth action all night, Rob. That was the first turnover of the game on the Jake Cortez interception. John Delano picked him off. He ran it the whole way for a pick six. Would have been 78 yards, but there was a holding call after the interception. Bethel Park with the football in that 7-point lead.
Calling the timeout, the head coach, Jeff Malini, in his 24th season as the Bethel Park head coach. 18 of those years, Bethel has made the playoffs.
Sarunas under center, I formation, play action, looks down the left side, will just dump it off to the fullback. Catch made there before pushed out of bounds, and that was Matola making the grab. Short gain, call it 2 yards. But the clock does stop as Matola went out of bounds.
Majewski right there to push him out of bounds. And that play was well designed, just a short little out route. I'm sure Bethel Park was hoping to get 2 or 3 more yards on that play. However, they will take it. They did gain 3 yards on that play. Were able to get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Yeah, they do call it a gain of 3, 1:10 on the clock now. 2nd and 7 from the 38. Again, I formation, receiver each way. Sarunas. Hard count. Now we'll snap it. 2-step drop, but this is going to be blown dead. He was throwing down the left side and looking for big receiver Austin Lewis, but play was blown dead well ahead of that. And it's a delay of game. They did not get the play off, did Bethel Park, so push them back 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Well, it seems like for both these teams, they get momentum on offense. There's some big plays that go their way, and it comes right back with an undisciplined mistake.
Yeah, we've seen that on each side, as you said, Rob. Fortunately, if you want to look for a positive out of that, especially on the Peters Township side, they've seemed to step up
work around
after that happened. Work around it, or maybe not let them that affect them, and just, hey, let's go, it's the next play. Peters Township reacted greatly to that 3 times in this game, and then unfortunately that last one kind of caught up to him as Cortez threw the interception. But Bethel Park does get a delay of game here, and it'll be 2nd and 12 from their own 33. 1:09 left on the clock here in the first half. Sarunas in the gun. He'll snap, look up the middle, and he'll just take off. Didn't give himself much time to look downfield, just took off with it up the middle, and Peters Township did a nice job to swarm to the football. Making the stop there was Grant Nelson. After a short gain for Sarunas, didn't even get back to the original line, just a gain of 1.
And this defensive line for Peters Township has some size. Ran right into, as you mentioned, Grant Nelson, 6'2", 235, and also Logan Clark right there, the defensive tackle, 6'3", 225, and these guys have a lot of size. And then you have Korcher there on the right end position, 6'1", 215.
And Bethel Park, since it's 3rd and 11 and the clock running, I don't think they're going to try and score here or throw it downfield. Sarunas, hard count, will give to the right. That's Delano up the middle, and he will get positive yardage, but didn't even get back to the 40, to the 39-yard line. Clock running, late flag thrown on the field. So we'll see what this discussion is about, or what the penalty will be with 12 seconds left in the first half.
Just an interesting remark here. The Bethel Park Blackhawks have finished with a non-losing season record in 5 consecutive seasons, making the playoffs each of those times, but they haven't finished with more than 7 wins or fewer and 4 losses in that time. So Bethel Park, this penalty on them for sure. They're coming back, and
it was a holding call.
This is a team that has been so solid throughout the course of its existence, and recently, especially since Malini has taken over as head coach 23 years ago, and this being his 24th year. They're just looking for that one team to really spark them, to keep them going in the playoffs. I mentioned last year they were eliminated in the first round, but they have a solid team this year. It all starts with that running game and that offensive line in front of them. The timeout, as I mentioned, taken by Bethel Park. So now they're going to have a meeting here on the near side, Peters Township on the far side. I've liked this game so far. I thought it's been physical. There were some mistakes, some undisciplined errors on both teams, and it has cost them. But both these teams running the ball well and taking some chances downfield, and we've seen some pretty immaculate plays.
12 seconds left in the half. Peters Township just took their third and final timeout after the holding call against Bethel Park. It's going to be 4th down and 26 from their own 23 now, so they called a timeout to try and force a punt here, and Jeff McKinney will send out the punting unit. And back deep to punt, going to be Austin Cortopassi. He is standing at his own 10-yard line. Again, just 12 seconds left in this half. Might be just trying to just pooch it away. Punt is not far at all. Boy, that went straight up in the air, and it's going to be bounced and down by Bethel Park at the 25-yard line. Officially, from the line of scrimmage, that is a 3-yard punt.
It doesn't sound too great when you say it that way, because it's true.
Took 9 seconds off the clock if you want to look for something positive.
Now with 3 seconds and in good field position, Peters Township could take a crack here in the end zone.
Yeah, they're at the 25-yard line. Cortez certainly has the arm. The receivers certainly have the speed. That could be a costly mistake on that punt for Bethel Park. It'll be 1st and 10, 25-yard line, and again, 3 seconds here. So we'll see what Peters Township does. They're going to line 3 receivers to the right, leave 1 man by himself to the left in Connor Peterson. Majewski in the backfield with Cortez. And Bethel Park will not let them get this play off just yet. They'll call a timeout. For several years, Progress has been recognizing the efforts of high school athletes in Western PA. Now that Progress and AstroTurf have united under the AstroTurf name, the team at MSA Sports is pleased to say that AstroTurf has joined our high school sports sponsorship family. AstroTurf is one of the most iconic brands in sports, and we are thrilled to have them on board. 14-7, Bethel Park, 3 seconds remaining in the first half. At the end of this half, we'll be kicking it to Don Rebel and Mike White for the halftime show. Jeff Matheny elected to take that timeout, didn't feel his defense was set up just the way that he wanted. It was his second timeout. They'll have 1 remaining here, probably won't need to use it. Same formation for Peters as before the timeout. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Majewski the sidecar to the left with Cortez in the backfield. Cortez, 2-step drop. Waits for his receivers to get to the end zone, then floats it up. He was hit as he threw, and it's intercepted. And intercepted right at the 10-yard line. Making the interception was Sean McGowan. He was stopped right where he made the pick and went nowhere, and that's the end of the first half where we stand. Bethel Park 14, Peters Township 7. We'll be back to talk about some things from that first half before we take it to the halftime show. As you are listening and watching WPIAL Football 2017 here on the MSA Sports Network.
Be sure to follow the MSA Sports Network on social media this season for the most up-to-date scores, pictures, videos, breaking news, and links to our articles. You can find the MSA Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram under the handle MSA Sports and at facebook.com/MSA Sports. The MSA Sports Network is also on YouTube under the handle MSA Sports WPIAL, where you can watch hundreds of interviews with local student athletes, full games, highlights, and more. Whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or our websites, MSA Sports is the place to go for high school sports in Western Pennsylvania.
MSA Sports broadcasts are now available on both Android and iOS devices. Just navigate to the game of your choice, and on your mobile device, press the arrow or play button. It's that easy. No app needed. No matter where you are, MSA Sports content is available at your fingertips via your iPad, Android phone, iPod, and iPhone. Anytime, anywhere, always there. The MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive WPIAL playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlo. Tell us your story using #WhatDrivesYou. Carlo University, a proud sponsor of the MSA Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, it's halftime from Peters Township High School. The Indians trailing the Bethel Park Blackhawks 14-7. Bethel Park's band on the field right now. I'm Cory Campano, Rob McKinney with me, Jess Levo on camera, which we have up and running now. If you joined late, sorry for the technical difficulties early. It's all fixed up now, and we're good to go. 14-7 our score. We've had a great game on hand. Rob, it's been interesting. I mean, it's been back and forth. There's really no team that has stepped up to take this game over thus far. Peters Township got a little sloppy in that second quarter, even on their touchdown, the fluky play. But let's run down the scoring recap from that first half. Bethel Park leading 14-7.
Well, the only score in the first quarter was the quarterback Surnus, a 15-yard pass to Delano into the end zone. That's when they lead 7-0 as the extra point was up and good. The next score came at the 10:58 mark in the second quarter. Peters Township on a 36-yard touchdown pass. It was Cortez to Korcher. And that was off Peterson's hand. The other wide receiver right into Korcher, who made the grab and chugged his way into the end zone, and the extra point was good. And that's what gives you the score of 7-7. Just 5 minutes later, at the 5:49 mark in the second quarter, Bethel Park, Volpatti, 11-yard touchdown run. And the extra point was true on that one, and that's what gives you the score here at the end of one half. Bethel Park 14, Peters Township 7.
2 interceptions as well by Cortez. One on the last play of the first half that counts as an interception, even though it really didn't affect play. The other one was picked off by John Delano, and he rambled 78 yards for a touchdown, but it got called back due to a holding play. 2 turnovers by Peters, none by Bethel Park, and again 14-7. Bethel Park leads it. And we will be back for action in the second half, but first we're going to take it to our halftime show. It's Don Rebel and Mike White, and they will look ahead to the WPIAL players to watch here in this 2017 football season, as we will be back after that. It's WPIAL Football 2017 on the MSA Sports Network.
It is the Week 2 edition of the Halftime Show 2017 here on the MSA Sports Network. One more ride with Mike White. And one of your favorite topics to talk about, Mr. White.
The players.
We talked about the teams last week.
And now it's the players. P-L-A-Y-A-Z. It's an AAU basketball club. The players.
I know.
And it's the MSA halftime show this week.
They've inspired us. All right. You want to work our way down or work our way up?
Let's work our way up. Real fast overall, Don.
In general.
What type of year is it overall? You know, people want to know usually about major college prospects. I think there's 16 kids that have already committed to FBS schools or Division 1A, as it used to be called. And that's pretty good at this time of the year. So I'm looking at probably maybe 25 by the end of the year, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not what it used to be 20, 30 years ago, but if you get up there around 30, that's pretty good. So it's an overall one real good player, but the depth of big-time players isn't there as far as 4-star or 5-star guys.
Size or skilled, real quick?
You're the lineman.
Okay.
And that's by the kids that have already committed to Division I. There's about 8 of them that are linemen that are already committed to Division I schools.
Start high, work down. Start
low, work up.
Class 1A.
Best, I would say Malik Hemingway would be one of the best. I'm going to write his story. Would be one of the best players at Bishop Canavan. He's gone. He's at Perry. He's gone. So I look at Ryan Culberson, maybe one of the best players. A Fort Cherry quarterback, was good last year, 6'4".
Got hurt.
He got hurt last week. What's his status? I don't know, but he would normally be. Clarendon, I expect Trayshawn Howard maybe to have a big year. They always have a playmaker there. That could be him this year, but he didn't do a whole lot in that first game. They have a couple good linemen back, Travis Irons. I'm going to say my favorite guy in single A, the Maple guy. Dylan Rush, running back. Now, you're going to say, is he the best college prospect? By no means, no. But as far as a player, he ran for over 4,000 yards coming into this year. Started since his freshman year. Just a player on his own level. Who's better than that?
Got his own syrup named after him. Not really. It was a team. But anyway.
Aunt Jemima would like her. She made a better batter. All right. 2A. TJ Banks, premier player, East Allegheny. Allegheny, they haven't had many players, Division I guys, in a long time. Interesting. His coach, TJ Banks, is a tight end. Will be in college. Many Division I offers. He says he thinks he'll play on Sunday someday.
Wow.
Says a lot. A lot of pressure on a kid. But Todd Hill, you got to look at Steel Valley. Todd Hill, a 3-year start at linebacker. Nas West, he was on SportsCenter top 10 plays last year. He's back. I like Isaiah Schoonmaker from Washington. Linebacker, running back some. Receiver going to Miami of Ohio. On to 3A?
Yes.
Top team, Aliquippa. That's a team that everybody says the beat, and rightly so. I like Tariq Jones, their linebacker. Plays a little bit. And Soup. He used to be Little Soup. His brother's Big Soup. I'm talking about the Jor Fisher. Now, not Soup. He's Scoop. He'd be Little Scoop and Big Scoop. Now he's just Scoop. He doesn't want to be Little Scoop anymore.
I prefer Hot Soup.
His brother graduated. Quantel Raines, I don't know what to say about him, Don. A number of scholarship offers, but as far as a player, they would like to see a little more production from him. He's been hurt. I don't know if he even played yet. Number of scholarship offers. Lionel Dean, Seton LaSalle, over 3,000 yards. He'll be a 4,000-yard rush. Yep. Kyle Fitzroy throwing to his brother at Apollo Ridge. And Nico Battisti, Danny Santilla, maybe Central Valley, some of the better players.
4A, 5A, 6A players to watch when the halftime show continues on the MSA Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlo. Tell us your story using #WhatDriveSYou. Carlo University, a proud sponsor of the MSA Sports Network.
Halftime show continues here on the network. Don Rebel, Mike White, players to watch 2017. We left off in Class 4A.
Well, 4A, I got to talk about a guy, Double D, Devin Danielson. There's some
big boy.
Yes, there's some Division I guys in 4A. Don, I really like this kid. I saw him last year as a defensive lineman. He was the best defensive lineman I've seen since Aaron Donald. I'm not going to say he's going to be another Aaron Donald, even though he's committed to Pitt. As far as quickness, size, leverage, I think he's underrated, only a 3-star. I think he's better than that as far as scouting services. I really like the kid. I think he's going to go up another level this year to really be that cream of the crop. He could. I really think Pitt's got a nice recruit, a big-time recruit there in Devin Danielson. Marcus Hooker, Newcastle, going to Ohio State following his brother Malik. Plays running back and defensive back. He'll be a defensive back. They need him to kind of really step up, I think, as a runner if they're going to come on. And
behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. Noah Palmer, also another Pitt recruit from Thomas Jefferson, defensive end tight end. Blake Zubovic, another Pitt recruit in that same conference from Bell Vernon. Big kid, 300-pounder, about 6'5", 6'6". You got to talk about players. He's not a Division 1A FBS guy, but Drew Saxon from South Vieta. Their quarterbacks around better than him. Went over 5,000 yards last week. Ronnie Stevenson, a sleeper. Good athletic kid, receiver from Montour, committed to Temple. But how about Connor
Dad
Basinger?
went to?
Langley Mustang to form your fabulous 5. He used to grab dimes off the top of the backboard. He jumped so high.
All right, free focus.
Connor Basinger, Laurel Highlands, going to talk about him. Laurel Highlands having
Great
the top
start.
player? Yeah, averaging over 200 yards a game rushing. 5A, love Bryce Lauer. Coach Greg Botta at Franklin Regional says this kid should have Division 1A offers. He does not. Big-time linebacker, just a tough kid. Old-time throwback type of player. Logan Hawkins from Penn Trafford. Really like him as a lineman, Don. I think he's one of the better linemen at WPIAL. He was on our preseason Fabulous 22. He's going to Akron. McKeesport has 4 kids who have Division 1 or 1 AA offers. You're talking Leighton Jordan, Alex Meadows, a big lineman. Didn't start last year as an offer from Pitt. John Harper and Carlinos Acey. Great story. Ivy League schools are recruiting them. How was the last time Ivy League came to recruit McKeesport?
Yeah, good for him.
Yes. Brady Walker, quarterback from Gateway. Should have 5,000 yards throwing before long. He's had a great year last year and started as a sophomore. On to 6A. The main guy. He'll fill it up for you. He's the best player in this area, no doubt. Phil Jerkovic, we all know about him, Notre Dame recruit. He's going to have, I think, a great year. Over 400 yards offense and averaging in the first 2 games, Don. And they are loaded. They have Division I kids who are juniors. Andrew Kristofic, I think, is a great, great junior. Maybe great's far. He's really good. A lineman, Raymond Falcone, I really like as a receiver. He's going to Lehigh, committed there. But they have talent all around, and they have added a few guys who we've known at Pine Richland. A lot of guys here. Division I guys, James Gamiter, Bethel Park, going to West Virginia, lineman. We talk about the year of the lineman. David Green, Central Catholic, committed to Pitt. He is defensive end. Jake Cradle, big lineman at Butler, also committed to Pitt. Those are some of the top linemen. Julian Major from Penn Hills, receiver. Watch him. See how he does the next few weeks. They have big games. He is going to Michigan State. And you got to mention Aiden Kane, comeback player of the year so far in the WPIAL. Junior, sophomore year, didn't play a game. Catches 11 passes the first game back this year for Mount Lebanon. So what? Caught 27 last week in 1 game. Set a state record. Shout out to Aiden.
Shout out. All right, our run here is likely done. Let me just say thank you. And let me just say, you are the best, whether it's TV, radio, or print. You
Thank
are
you,
the
Don.
best.
I don't want to talk anymore because I might get emotional.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, enjoy the second half of the game you are listening to here on the MSA Sports Network.
Back on the MSA Sports Network. Again, we are at halftime at Peters Township High School, 14-7. Bethel Park leading Peters Township. Interesting first half back and forth As we just heard the final words from Don Rebel and Mike White on our halftime show. We will be back for second half of play. There is about 5 minutes or so left on the clock here at halftime, and Peters Township band still on the field. We will take another short break here, be back to get you second half action, as it's the video stream game of the week here, and it's 2017 WPIAL football. It's only here on the MSA Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
AstroTurf, a pioneer in sports surfacing, proudly supports high school athletics. Visit one of their 280 fields in the tri-state area to see their cutting-edge technology. AstroTurf's focus on R&D enables them to provide innovative surfaces that protect athletes and stand the test of time. AstroTurf now propels performance with iconic turf fields and legendary Recor-Tan tracks. They manufacture, build, and maintain a full range of turf and track systems for total quality control. Learn more at astroturf.com.
Get everything you want in a checking account plus $200 from Dollar Bank. That's right. You get $200 with an everything checking account from Dollar Bank. Everything checking includes interest, 55,000 free ATMs, and no monthly service fee when you do the things you already do every day. You also get real-time alerts and an app with mobile deposit, all free. Add Everything Savings to earn 1.00% APY up to $20,000. And now, Everything Checking has it all, including a $200 offer that ends September 30th. So don't miss your chance to get $200. Stop in, visit dollar.bank/200, or call 1-800-242-BANK today. Dollar Bank, mutually inspired. $200 offer for new customers only. Certain requirements apply in the first year. Call for details. 0.15% annual percentage yield. Savings rate and fee waiver requires 6 qualifying payments. 0.25% savings APY over $20,000. Subject to change without notice. Dollar Bank. Member FDIC.
MSASports.net is the place to click on every day this fall.
On Mondays, we have the latest MSA Sports Top 10 football rankings.
Also on Monday, we check in on the former district stars now making the grade in college with WPIAL alum Q&A.
Tuesday is a look back at the biggest and best plays from the previous Scholastic football weekend with the plays of the week.
We go big game hunting on Wednesday with a preview of the top WPIAL football contests.
I'll look into my crystal ball on Thursday with the wildly popular Chicks Picks.
A complete rundown of all the games comes your way on Friday, plus plenty of broadcasts to choose from on Friday nights.
On Saturday, we'll take a look at the top performances with Friday night highlights. Then on Sunday, a look back at the previous day's high school standouts with Saturday's Scholastic Stars.
Anytime, anywhere, always there this fall with the MSA Sports Network at MSASports.net.
Who showed you how to get to Sesame Street and took you to visit Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? WQED. And now, WQED and PBS Learning Media can help you travel through space, get an up-close look into Vietnam, and be in the front row of a Broadway show. In collaboration with local school districts, community organizations, and local libraries, WQED continues to create experiences that remake learning for students, teachers, and lifelong learners. For more info, visit WQED.org and begin your adventure.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, shortly away from the second half commencing here between Bethel Park and Peters Township. Rob McKinney's with me. I'm Cory Campano. 14-7, Bethel Park with the lead at the end of the first half, and felt like towards the end maybe it could have been by more for them, but Peters Township held their own. They had 2 turnovers in the first half, did the Indians. Bethel Park with none of their own. They did have a 78-yard touchdown on an interception return by John Delano that got called back from a holding. They did get credit for that interception, though, and took over from there. And they lead at 14-7, number 3 in the MSA Sports rankings. The Bethel Park Blackhawks, number 6, the Peters Township Indians. And in this Southeastern Conference here in Class 6A in the WPIAL, Rob, really, we couldn't have asked for a better game, better half. It was just terrific football back and forth, and we could see more of the same here in the second half.
What I noticed a lot from Bethel Park is that there was more explosive plays. The running backs, they were incorporating so many in the backfield, you just couldn't tell who it was going to go to. In the passing game, got going a little bit for them. That's how they scored one of their touchdowns. However, Peters Township, they shot themselves in the foot a few times. There were the 2 interceptions. However, the one, Cortez just taking a last-second chance right before the end of the first half. And that one you can't really fault on him just because he was just taking a long shot into the end zone, and it came up just a little bit short. But the first one that he threw cost him, and it led to a touchdown for Bethel Park. So for Bethel Park, they're capitalizing on the opportunities that are presented to them, and they're just playing a more dynamic game than Peters Township at this moment. However, Peters has put together some decent drives. They've only been able to capitalize once, and that was on a little bit of a fluke play. It was Peterson, the wide receiver, who initially had his hands on the ball, went off his fingertips and into the hands of Korcher, who then took it into the end zone for the Indians, and that was their lone score. And 14-7, Bethel Park leads.
Yeah, 14-7, and Rob, I mean, great breakdown there of what actually happened. It was fluky, though.
Yeah,
that touchdown
definitely.
for Peters Township. They scored the play before. It was a 21-yard hookup on a touchdown pass from Cortez to Josh Casilli. That got brought back for an illegal formation call, but the very next play, Connor Peterson wide open across the middle. It goes right through his hands, but somehow lands in the hands of Angelo Korcher, who rumbled into the end zone. 36-yard touchdown there. Only score the first half for Peters Township. If you are Peters Township at home here, trailing by 7 against a very tough Bethel Park team, what's the message here? What was TJ Plack's message at halftime, and what do they have to do to be successful and come out on top?
Well, you know what? I think they were successful in what they wanted to do in the first half. They wanted to work east to west. They wanted to work towards the sidelines, and they did just that in the first half. The only thing that I think that Plack was going to say is he's going to go to his star quarterback and settle him down just a little bit and say, hey, listen, let's not have happy feet in the backfield. Take your time, set your feet, deliver some accurate throws, because those mistakes just can't be made. And you know what? He has to be happy because he has to like the defense so far, and his defensive line has been really, really strong against the offensive line on Bethel Park. Of course, there were some big plays, but for the most part, they have been strong.
Jeff Matheny's squad, on the other hand, been here so many times before. We've got a good chance to talk about Jeff Matheny in that first half and kind of, Bethel Park's stature, where they've been. They're going to be a force in Class 6A now in the WPIAL. Familiar territory for them. They're up 14-7 at the half. Now remember, a big win last week, 35-15. Offense played extremely well against North Allegheny, especially the running attack. We've seen that here tonight. We've seen the running backs on display with Volpatti and Delano. We have really seen some good, hard running of the football. Does that continue in the second half?
It has to. That's their bread and butter, and I like how you said that in the first half, is that's what they need to stick to here in the second half. In the first quarter, it didn't work as well as they wanted it to. That's why they had to go to the pass game and get that touchdown in the first quarter, and they were the lone team to score in the first quarter. In the second quarter, then they started implementing their run game a little bit more, and it started working for them. They started finding their holes, and they incorporated many different running backs. They used their fullback. They used a couple wide receivers on end arounds. We saw different running backs come in and out. We saw Lewis come in, who we didn't call his name all game, and he came in and had a very good carry of 6 or 7 yards. And so whenever you have that dynamic and it's working for you as it did in the second quarter and it finally clicked, that's a message to keep that going here in the second half, and we're going to see much of the same from the Bethel Park Blackhawks.
Bethel Park will also be getting the ball to start this second half with the 14-7 lead. Bethel Park in the all-white jerseys, black helmets. Love the white face mask. They've got the black numbers and orange outline. Peters Township, the red jerseys, white pants, white helmets, white numbers with the black outline. And on the field already, looking to do the kicking duties, is Zach Sepich. Bethel Park will jog onto the field, and deep to receive this time will be Sean McGowan and Jack Evans. And actually, Jack Evans will be an up man there, jogging to the far side. It's Javon Lewis. So Lewis and McGowan deep. Sepich ready to kick it off, and it's the second half here from Peters Township High School. 12 minutes on the clock. Sepich runs up and boots it deep. Coming up to make the catch is McGowan at his own 15. McGowan up the middle, head of steam, bounces it to the right, has a little room there, and gets across the 30 up near the 35-yard line And Bethel Park will start right at that 35-yard line. Good field position.
Yeah, solid return, and it seems as though Bethel Park is getting some very favorable field position. For Peters Township, it wasn't the case. Remember when they started on their own 1-yard line, and it almost was a safety for them.
Yep.
And so the Indians had to do a lot of work to gain yardage, and for Bethel, they've usually had some pretty solid field position.
So Bethel Park operating from right to left on your dial. Sarunas back out to do the QB duties. In the gun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fakes to the running back, keeps it himself, really nowhere to go. Their defense read it well. That was a fake up the middle to Volpatti, and then Sarunas really nowhere to go, will be stopped for no gain.
And that was Tanner Scott who came off that left edge, blew around the right tackle, and came in and made the stop. There was 2 defenders in the backfield, so really no chance for Bethel Park on that play whatsoever.
Now they'll go to the I-form set. Matola, the fullback, and deep man is Volpatti. Delano goes in motion. 2 receivers to the right now. Sarunas fakes there. They'll get a reverse to Delano, and reading the play there and slowing it down for a second was McCall, but Delano bounced out of it, gets across the 40, and then is knocked out of bounds. That is just all John Delano.
How about that second effort from us? We talked about Aiden McCall and how solid he has been in this game, making those tackles, individual tackles, one-on-one, him and the offensive player, and he usually wins, and did for the most part in that first half. This time he did not. Delano, not only is he short, shifty, and has some speed, he also has some grit, some size. He's muscular. He's able to just pretty much shed off that defender, and he has that quickness to get to the near side on the sideline and work his way up. Once he bounces it to the outside, watch out.
He got 8 yards on that play, was stopped for a moment 2 yards behind the line. It's 3rd and 2 for Bethel Park. Volpatti goes out wide. Sarunas will float it over the middle, incomplete. And that is a missed opportunity for the Hawks. He was looking for the big tight end, Aaron Beatty. It looked like, Rob, on that right side, if they would have stuck with that and went with the screen, Volpatti was wide open.
Yeah, they probably should have stuck with that play. However, there was some pressure on the quarterback as Tanner Scott came in now on the right side and nearly licked the quarterback pretty good, but decided to let up.
That's a big stop for Peters Township. They'll force a punt, and they'll receive the punt inside their own 30 on a nice kick, and dancing with it is number 25 in red, Josh Casilli. Decent punt that time for Bethel Park. Didn't get a chance to say his name. That was Austin Cortopassi that punted it deep. Went about 30 yards, and Peters Township on a decent return of 7 will set it up at their own 38-yard line.
And now we will see Jake Cortez in this offense. We'll see if Cortez is able to settle down. He had 1 throwing touchdown, 2 interceptions, and Peters Township has been blessed with some pretty good quarterbacks in years past. We saw Timmy Swoop not too long ago. Corey Owens, who was just a dynamic quarterback all the way around, could throw the ball, wasn't really his strength, could do a lot on the ground, got some D1 looks. Peters Township has always been solid at quarterback, and Jake Cortez needs to continue that here in this game and show why he's one of the better quarterbacks here in the WPIAL.
Sends Peterson in motion, gives it to Majewski, and Majewski fighting hard for yardage is hit by 3 or 4 defenders, and I mean really hit is Majewski, but as small as he is, he's so strong, he's so low to the ground, very shifty, and he's got pretty decent speed as well, and he turned that into a 5-yard gain. And it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 43-yard line for Peters.
And him and Delano are similar to me in that not big in stature, shifty, have good acceleration, and can break the initial tackle.
Loaded to the right side here. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers right. Majewski to the right of Cortez. Again, they'll give it to him. Majewski goes left side, gets up the field, and goes north-south right to the 50-yard line. Great run there for the running back for the Indians. Majewski, with that shiftiness, Rob, that's a situation right there where he has the smarts to just, okay, it's not there. Let's just get upfield. He got 7.
And when he sees a hole, no hesitation. You see that a lot with young running backs, especially in high school ball. They see a hole. Sometimes they hesitate. They take their time. Not here with Majewski. When he sees one, he explodes through it, and he seems to pick up some good yards, and that was enough for a first down.
Got that spread formation going all night in the gun. Cortez, 2 receivers each way now. Again, coming in motion is Peterson. 2 on the right. Cortez, drop. He'll look to throw. Steps into it up the middle, and it's caught there. Casilli breaks a tackle across the 40. It's another first down for Peters Township on a gain of 12, and a good hookup from Cortez to Casilli.
And that time, Cortez, the pocket was there. He had some room. he had some time, should I say, as the offensive line gave him plenty of room to maneuver in the pocket, and he was able to drop one step up and deliver an accurate throw, not moving his feet, did not panic in the pocket, and that's when Cortez is at his best. And, of course, he found his favorite wide receiver, Casilli.
2 receivers left now. Majewski in the backfield will get the run and go left, and he's hit immediately that time. Again, coming up, how many times are you going to say Tiger Burks on defense? That middle linebacker position, they are solid there with 37 and White.
Yeah, he's just all around, and it seems as though he is really, really keen on knowing what the play is going to be. He can diagnose the play before it happens. He's got great vision. He knows when to punch it through the gaps and to come up and make the tackle. He's been really the most reliable individual on this Bethel Park defense. 2nd and 8
after the 2-yard gain, just under 9 minutes here in the third quarter. Peters Township down 7, looking to tie it up on this drive. Cortez drops, pressure in his face, a loft one down the middle, has a receiver there, but he overshot Josh Casilli, who looked like he had a half step on the defender.
He did have a half step, but as he was working towards that post route coming in towards the middle, it was good coverage there by Austin Lewis. Now, nothing was called. However, I did see Lewis and Casilli for a brief second get a little tangled up, and that might have caused Casilli to hesitate just a little bit and not get to that football. However, that one was quite overthrown by Cortez.
Yeah, Cortez just sailed it a little bit, and it was enough. So it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 37-yard line. 8:48 showing on the clock here in the third quarter. Majewski to the right of Cortez. 2 receivers, 1 each way. Cortez drops, has plenty of time, looks to the left side, throw is there, and it's caught by Peterson, and a first down, Peters Township, on another bullet pass from Jake Cortez.
And that one was Peterson, we called his name earlier, who almost made a catch off his hands into Korcher, the tight end for the Peters Township Indians, was able to come up with it and score the touchdown with Peterson. This time, just another button hook there on the far side, came back to the ball. The defender was playing a few feet off.
Very important 3rd down conversion there. 3rd and 8, and they're right in that like no man's land. What are you going to do if you don't convert? But they throw for a gain of 10. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Cortez sends a man in motion, tight end in front of him. He'll roll right, looks to throw. He's hit immediately, and that throw's going to be off the mark to the right. Cortez took a shot there, and coming in to make a big hit on the D-line was big number 87, David Opferman.
And Opferman, and it seems like these Bethel Park defenders, including Offerman and Burks, when they deliver a hit, they deliver a hit with some physical punishment. And Cortez, I talked about it earlier in the game, as a sophomore, he took a lot of punishment in the backfield, and that's whenever he gets a little nervous, when he senses that pressure. He has happy feet, says TJ Plack, and we've seen that a couple times from him, and that time really no chance for him because that was a huge hit and just too much pressure.
They'll fake to Majewski up the middle, and a great job by Cortez to get rid of the football there. It was caught, but now it's out. Now it's out on the ground. Bethel Park is celebrating as if they have the football. Officials come to meet right at the spot. It was near a 1st down yard marker. And it's Bethel Park football. Across the middle was Peterson. He caught it, took the hit, but fumbled. And Bethel Park will take over on the 3rd turnover of the game for Peters Township. And boy, Rob, that is just a killer. Peters Township driving down. You said Cortez with the happy feet. A great job to get rid of the football, and they give it right back.
Yeah, he sensed that pressure. That time he stood in the pocket to deliver that throw while being hit, and hit hard. And Peterson with a nice catch. However, as he was transitioning with his body, he took a shot, and that one just came loose.
At the 15-yard line, Bethel Park takes over. I-form set, man in motion, Sarunas will give it to the back man. That's Delano. And Delano gets across the 15 up to the 17-yard line. Gain of 2. But that is just such a big turnover. 15-yard line, you had 2 3rd down conversions on that drive. And you're setting yourself up to tie this football game and get a 3rd turnover of the game. Bethel Park will show no mercy, though, either. They'll go right back to that running game.
And it's the turnovers again that's really costing the Indians, and now 3 that have really proved to be factors in this game for them. We saw the 2 interceptions, the fumble. And
now with 7.5 minutes left in the third, Bethel Park back to work. Give off to the right side, and bouncing and breaking away from a tackle was Delano. Now a spin move. He breaks 2 tackles across the 30, a cut inside. He might go all the way across the 50, across the 40. He's got one man to beat to the 30, to the 20. McCall trying frantically to catch him. Delano dives. Touchdown, Bethel Park. An 83-yard touchdown run from John Delano, and you will not see many better than that.
That was just the speed of Delano, and also his just absolute will to get through the levels of the defense. He got through the defensive line, shed a couple tackles. He went and met the linebackers. Nobody could catch up with him. And eventually when the secondary got there, a quick spin move, and he was off to the races. He's one of the fastest guys that I've seen covering high school football so far this season, and he is just electric. Whenever you see him touch the football, you know something special is going to happen.
I mean, when he got to the second level, it was all speed. But how about before then? He broke 2 tackles 5 yards down the field, then a spin move to elude another 2 Peters Township defenders, an 83-yard touchdown run. Extra point kick is up. It's a line drive, but it's through for Gummo. 21-7 Bethel Park on an 83-yard touchdown run from Delano. We'll be right back. Peters Township looking for an answer. You're listening and watching to 2017 WPIAL football here on the MSA Sports Network.
Log on every Wednesday night at 7 for the latest high school football news during This Week in the WPIAL here on the MSA Sports Network. Join Don Rebel and other members of the MSA sports team as they visit with WPIAL football coaches, plus they run down the upcoming schedule and preview the weekend's top high school football games. That's This Week in the WPIAL, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. this fall, only on the MSA Sports Network.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, Cory Campano, Rob McKinney's with me, Jess Levo on camera for our video stream game of the week here on the MSA Sports Network, 21-7. Now Bethel Park. Rob, we said that they would probably take advantage on the ground after the turnover. They wasted no time. An 83-yard touchdown run from John Delano is second of the game, 1 running, 1 throwing, or 1 catching and 1 running. Bethel Park with a big answer.
And Delano with well over 100 yards rushing today.
Now the return on another pooch kick, and again, Peters Township will have tremendous field position. That is Bethel Park's plan, though. They're keeping it away from the skill players. That time returning was a skill player in himself, though, Adrian Williams, with a nice 12-yard return up to the 39-yard line. Peters will set up there, but boy, Rob, they got to hang on to the football.
They do have to hang on to the football, and they cannot take 3 steps back after taking so many steps forward. They're getting first downs. They're converting on 3rd down. They're even converting on 4th downs. They just can't seem to get into the end zone once they reach the red zone. That's something that has been very tricky for them today.
Jake Cortez, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Connor Peterson, the fumble last drive. That's the 3 turnovers for Peters. And look at this. A high snap. Cortez tries to fall on it. That ball's still loose. Bethel Park is signaling that they have it. Officials in to make the call. We're waiting for the wave. It is Bethel Park football. Jake Cortez will get charged with the fumble on a high snap. He just couldn't handle it. A quick snap from the center, Shane O'Connell. That has to be a very high snap to elude a 6'5" quarterback, and Peters Township has just committed turnover number 4.
And you mentioned how they needed to limit the turnovers. That's not the response you want. If you're head coach TJ Plack, you're having a conversation with your quarterback and your center at this point and looking at him and saying, Cortez, this game is about you at this point. You need to fix your mistakes, and this defense needs to make a stand here. This is a very important drive here for both teams, and we do have a timeout taken here from Bethel Park.
Yeah, they were not set up there. Bethel Park out of the turnover. They made a switch and tried to get a receiver on late, but head coach Matheny had to take a timeout. Running onto the field was Eric Slavy, but he was late, and they had to call a timeout. Did I see that Anthony Chisett is on at quarterback?
Yeah, Serenas is no longer in at quarterback for Bethel Park. And
not sure if Serenas committed an injury or if he's on the sideline trying to spot him. But either way, number 18 in at quarterback, the 6'1" sophomore, Anthony Chisett. And I believe He was in to hand off the football to Delano last drive. I think that was his first or second play into the game. Did not make an attempt a pass just yet. But Chisset, nice size for a sophomore quarterback. We'll have to see if we get word on Sarunas as well.
Well, it's a new quarterback situation for Bethel Park this year. The quarterback last year graduated, and that's a void they're trying to fill. They're going to test out a couple guys here over the course of the early parts of the season.
Sarunas standing on the sideline near head coach Matheny, so I think just a switch here is Chisset will loft one to the right side and making the catch and rumbling up across the 30-yard line near first down yard markage is number 34, Luke Matula, fullback out of the backfield, and that's a nice safe play to get Chisset into the ballgame. You want him to throw? Just have a little dump off, let your fullback do the work.
Yeah, just a little check down to the fullback there on the far side. That's going to give your new quarterback confidence. You complete
Absolutely.
those short passes, and heck, if they go for big gains, that's just the little cherry on top.
Under 6.5 in this third quarter, 2nd and 1 from the 27-yard line. Bethel Park with the ball in a 14-point lead. Chisset, little inverse play to Delano, and Delano was hit immediately. Coming over to make the stop for Peters Township was Korcher. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and 1. Wholesale substitutions here for Bethel Park. Checking in Cooper Shoemaker and also David Opferman. Tanner Volpatti back in the game as well. Bethel Park really controlling pace here in the second half and have made a quarterback change to Anthony Chisset. Chisset under center. Strong eye set. Gives to the right. Volpatti's hit immediately in the backfield, and that's a big stop for Peters Township. Coming in to make the play was number 31, Clayton Scott. Volpatti's going to lose 3. And, boy, that's right where they fumbled the football, Rob, but looks like they've made a defensive stop.
Well, Clayton Scott, not only did he tackle the running back, he tackled the individual trying to block him as well. He pushed through the offensive line and was able to get that penetration into the backfield and bring down Volpatti, who is not easy to tackle, keep in mind, with one hand wrapped up by the offensive lineman. Just a great individual effort there from Clayton Scott.
Really impressive. Bethel Park's offense will stay on the field. Look at this, 5 wide on a 4th and 4. Chisset, the sophomore, drops, rolls, eluding pressure, dumps it off, but it's behind Volpatti, incomplete, and a turnover on downs for Bethel Park. That is a big-time response from the Indian defense. 4 turnovers they've had to deal with. That one looked like it would be the most costly as they were already trailing by 14, but they get a nice job giving up 1 first down, but then the turnover on downs, they'll take over on offense.
That was probably the most important drive for Peters Township from this point forward. And if they can respond offensively, they still have a lot of time to get back into this game. Just down by 14 points, very manageable. However, the way they have been, they are working down the field. They have to make sure they don't take 3 steps back after completing a lot of great plays.
Shotgun snap, and the sidecar was Williams who gets the carry, and he fights forward for positive yardage. TJ Plack took the headset off and was screaming at someone there, but Williams did get from the 31 to the 34 for a gain of 3. Peters Township, we keep saying it, but Rob, it's evident now they need a score here.
Yeah, they do, and they need to rely on their better players. You have to take a look now at Majewski, Cortez, and Casilli. Those are the 3 guys I'm going to watch in this drive and see how often they're targeted.
In the gun, Cortez, quick throw to the left, and it is way high over the head of Peterson, incomplete. Clock stops at 4:06 here in the third quarter, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 6 for Peters Township, and I think that right there was a situation of the happy feet for Cortez.
Yeah, he seems to be just uncomfortable whenever he senses that pressure. He takes the 2 steps back, and whenever he doesn't initially see somebody open and he senses that pressure, he'll start moving around, and when he does that, that's whenever those inaccurate throws occur.
So now 3rd and 6, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, sidecar is Majewski. Cortez sends a man in motion in front of him, that's Mary. And Cortez drops, he'll roll to the right, looks for help, plants his foot, throw over the middle, it's low. And he had a receiver open too. Casilli was coming back towards the football, but Cortez just didn't put a good pass in that time. I mean, really, it was a wobbly pass, it was low, and if he planted his foot and got a little behind that, I think they would have had a first down there.
And they would have had a first down by 2 or 3 yards. A pass intended for Peterson, who was right there in that area. He's been targeting him a lot here recently.
So a 3-and-out for Peters Township. And they'll go back to punt. Sepich. End over end. Punt will bounce at the 32. Delano will go pick it up and run out of bounds. Dangerous play there. But luckily for him, he had to secure hands on the football. And Bethel Park will set up on their own 28-yard line. Reminder coming up after the game, it's WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show with Don Rebel from the new MSA Sports Control Center with all the scores and recaps from Week 2. Don't miss the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show after the game, and it's only here on the MSA Sports Network.
There's a lot of great scores going on here in the WPIAL. Try my best here as we have some times to update you with scores around 6A, scores around the WPIAL. There's a lot of great games being played tonight. Most of them covered here on the MSA Sportsnet.
This is a great one here, 21-7 Bethel Park. Give off to the left. That's Volpatti back in the game, and he fights forward for positive yardage. Spun out of a tackle there. Majiski is going to get credit for it. But from the 28 to the 36, nice gain of 6 yards for Tanner Volpatti. This is the Southeastern Conference in WPIAL Class 6A. Bethel Park finished second in the conference to Mount Lebanon last season. Lost in the first round to Pine Richland 35-32. They are ranked number 3 in the MSA Sports Network top 10. Come into this one 1-0. Looking to get to 2-0. Chisset, the new quarterback, under center. Gives to the back man. That's Volpatti again. Volpatti fights forward. First down yardage. Needed 3 and got 4 up to the 39-yard line. Moved the sticks for the Blackhawks. That clock showing 3 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
We do have an update here with the score around 6A. Penn Hills leading Canyon McMillan 27-3.
Keep an eye out on some other 6A scores here. Chisset under center, strong eye to the right, 2 receivers that way as well. Give again to Volpatti on the stretch. Volpatti fights forward for 3 yards, up to the 43, and call it 4 yards. Bethel Park will do this often. They'll do it when they don't have a lead, but especially when they have a 14-point lead, they will just go to that run game.
In the second half, underway here between Central Catholic and North Allegheny. Central Catholic leads that one 7-0, so very close game. A surprising 5 first-half turnovers between both the teams.
Bethel Park keeping the drive alive, 2nd and 7 from the 43. Chisset sends his fullback in motion. Gives to the left that way. That's Delano who just checked in. Delano looks for that hole and bursts through it. Up near first down yardage. He gets to the 48-yard line, called a gain of 5. And a player down for Bethel Park. Trainer coming out to tend to the Bethel Park Blackhawk. I think it was a receiver that went down.
Appears to be a cramp. Just to update you, the last time we checked, it was about 15 minutes ago. Last updated, Mount Lebanon leads Hempfield 17-0. That was heading into the second half.
That's a big score for us and for the importance of the 2 teams on the field in the Southeastern Conference. Mount Lebanon was 7-4 last year, 5-1 in the conference. Hempfield 5-6 overall, but 4-2 in the conference and made the playoffs. And Mount Lebanon leading them 17-0, as Rob just mentioned. Is that Delano that's down? It looked like where he got tackled. That is him, but I think you're right. Just a cramp, yeah. Robbie hopped up, and he'll have to take off one play, but should be just fine.
Well, based on his reaction, as soon as he went down, the left leg came up, and it kind of stiffened on him.
Yeah.
That's a clear-cut sign of a cramp, and he's now getting stretched out by the training staff here on the near side sideline.
Usually see that a lot more often early on in the season. Mm-hmm. This just week 2, just Bethel Park's second game. Third game for Peters Township. They played a week 0 contest against Shar Valley. Under 2 minutes in the third quarter. Big 3rd and 2 here for Bethel Park from their own 48. I-form set. Chisset, the hard count, gets Peters Township to jump. And what a call there by Jeff Matheny. That is just experience at its finest. You've got the young defensive line for Peters Township. Have Chisset go up there and just say, hey, don't move. We have to sit John Delano for a play as well. Why not just get him to jump off sides?
Yeah, inexperienced defensive line. Smart play. You can tell that the 24 years of coaching is really shining through here.
That 5-yard penalty on Peters Township pushes it to the 48-yard line on the other side in their own territory now. One receiver to the right, 3 men in the backfield with Chisset. That I form and a tight end to the right. Give is to Volpatty. Volpatty bounces it right, now kicks it up the middle. Right on that left hash, he fought forward, gained 3. This is just what Bethel Park wants. That clock is ticking, a methodical drive. And they are still moving the football with a 14-point lead.
And one thing I was reminded of, that I just thought about it, around the year 2013, Peters Township had a quarterback dispute, a duo that was competing for the spot. It was Cory Owens, as I mentioned earlier, and R.J. Pfeiffer. And R.J. Pfeiffer transferred over to Bethel Park for his senior year and played some defensive back.
And we're going to have a jump here on the offensive line. Looked like near side offensive tackle Connor Holy had jumped, number 63, and that is a penalty on Bethel Park. Push him back 5. Be 2nd and 12. You were saying, Rob.
And to continue my thought on R.J. Pfeiffer, that he was a good quarterback for Peters Township. Just Cory Owens, just a little bit more athletic, a very dynamic player that could run the ball just as well as he could throwing it. And Pfeiffer coming over to Bethel Park did some special things with that defense, really helped out that team a lot. And Pfeiffer has a younger brother here on this Peters Township team. And that name runs through Bethel Park and Peters Township. So kind of reliving some memories, as I was very involved with Peters Township, also with Bethel Park.
Give here on 2nd and 12 is Volpatty again. Fights forward to the original line of scrimmage for a 2-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Bethel Park. As we're winding down, this may take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Peters Township with the 4 turnovers, trailing 21-7. Bethel Park with the lead on the road. We'll be back for the 4th quarter of play. Bethel Park will look to hold on. You're listening and watching to 2017 WPIAL football on the MSA Sports Network.
Make Chick-fil-A Robinson your destination for a fast and tasty breakfast. Chick-fil-A Robinson offers a variety of breakfast sandwiches, including sausage, bacon, or, of course, chicken. Breakfast is served hot and fresh daily, featuring our handmade biscuits. Need to feed a crowd or a tailgate on Sunday? Chick-fil-A Robinson Catering has got you covered with hot or reheatable chicken trays. Visit our catering website at www.cfarobinsoncaters.com to book your business or social event today. Chick-fil-A Robinson Catering. We deliver.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlo. Tell us your story using #WhatDrivesYou. Carlo University, a proud sponsor of the MSA Sports Network.
Back on the MSA Sports Network, it's the 4th quarter upcoming here. Cory Campano, Rob McKinney with me, Jess Levo, doing a fine job on the camera for our video stream game of the week here. 12 minutes back on the clock. Bethel Park with a 21-7 lead, and the football at the 47-yard line in Peters Township territory. They have a 3rd and 11. Anthony Chisset in, will roll right. He'll float it down the field. Wide open receiver, and it's caught. Running down the sidelines, Austin Lewis, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line on the hookup from Chisset to Lewis, and a beautiful throw by the sophomore.
Yeah, he's looking absolutely stellar. Chisset is coming in at quarterback, and we do have an injured player here on the near side for Peters Township. Indian is down, being stretched out by the training staff. Now Bethel Park, probably another cramp by the looks of it now. And but, I mean, this accurate throwing is really kind of different from what Cernus was able to provide at quarterback. Is he was running the football. He did have that passing touchdown over Chisset. Seems to be a little bit more accurate, seems to be a little bit more comfortable throwing the football. So they're kind of getting 2 different dynamics at quarterback, and no wonder we've seen both of them tonight.
Well, the big play, big thing there too, I should say, sophomore quarterback comes in. You know, you've got to know how to game manage a bit with the type of lead that Bethel Park has. That was a 3rd and 11. After, and obviously Jeff Matheny had the time in between quarters to make that play call and talk to his quarterback, but Chisholm on a rollout just threw an absolute strike there. Lewis made a nice catch, and on a 3rd and 11, they got 24 yards, and now nearing the red zone and looking for another score.
And that was Ryan Majewski, who was the individual down for the Indians. It seemed to be a cramp as he's running off the field now, and if you're down with an injury, you do have to set out a play here. For WPIAL high school football rules, is that if you are down, you do have to sit out the next play.
Under center, Chisholm, I formation. Volpati, the deep back, he'll get it. Bounces right, has a hole there, and he's going to go all the way. An easy touchdown for Tanner Volpati of 23 yards, and Bethel Park walking their way to victory here, up 27-7. This has really turned for Peters Township, Rob.
It has, and it's turned in the opposite direction of clearly what they wanted it to. Volpati with just a hole, nothing but green in front of him. Tremendous blocking, and this defense for Peters Township is just absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, they're gassed. There's no doubt about that. Volpati, as you said, saw the hole on the right side, and once there was that little glimmer, he just took it to the next level speed-wise, ran down the right sideline. Touchdown, Bethel Park. Extra point good from Gummo. 28-7, and this score is the exact score of the way it ended last year when it was at Bethel Park. Bethel Park won 28-7 there. TJ Plack, in obvious frustration, comes out on the field a couple yards deep to talk to his team. Some of the top athletes in the WPIAL are featured every week on the MSA Sports Center stage, which you can view on our YouTube page. Log on to our website this fall at www.msasports.net and check out which athletes we are talking about, or we are talking to, plus our weekly game lights are also now featured here on the MSA Sports Network. 28-7, Rob, and Bethel Park. Maybe for an instance in that first half didn't have control of this game. Otherwise, they've been spectacular.
Yeah, they've been capitalizing on the mistakes made by Peters Township. I think that's the most important thing that we should note. And the run game, which I said they needed to stick to there in the second half because it worked in the second quarter of the first half, they did just that. And they're running the football well. I mean, the few touchdowns that we saw here in the second half, we saw an 83-yard touchdown run by Delano, which was sensational. We broke 3 or 4 tackles with the speed, took him into the end zone, and then we just saw that 23-yard touchdown run from Volpati. How insanely blessed is this Bethel Park team to have such talented running backs in the backfield?
That backfield is spectacular. Kickoff from Gummo, fielded at the 15-yard line and up across the 25, across the 30, and down at the 32-yard line. That was Peterson on the return. That was, Peterson up to the 32-yard line. And now, we said last drive that Peters Township needed a score. Now there's just no doubt. If they get a score here, there is still a little bit of hope, as we still have 11:40 left on the clock. But, I mean, it needs to be now, and it needs to be quick, Rob, in order for Peters Township to have a chance to win this ballgame. Cortez comes back out in the gun. Expect a lot of passing this drive. 3 wide receivers to the left. Cortez drops, looking down the field. Pressured from behind, he's going to be sacked. Took too long, didn't get rid of the football, and pressured from behind, and making the sack was number 51 in white. That's Gavin Varjesko.
And Varjesko, earlier in the first half, broke through the offensive line, ran right into Cortez, but couldn't tackle him. And he did it later on with Majewski. He had 2 opportunities to bring the quarterback and running back down in the backfield. Did not do that in the first half. This time makes no mistake about it, and a sack there for him.
Lost 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 13, but before Jake Cortez can get the snap off here, there was a flag thrown on the near sideline, usually indicating illegal formation or false start, and that's exactly what it is. Penalties are stacking up here for Peters Township.
And that's what's really bothering them right now. That's really what's hurting them offensively, is that although they haven't had a big gain on this drive yet, when they have had big gains, those penalties come right back. And they're not just small penalties. They are ones that push them back 10, 15 yards.
Under 11 minutes left in this one. Cortez looks left, now right, bubble screen. Caught there, Casilli will try to reverse field. He's going to go nowhere. Just went backwards. That play really did not develop near the line of scrimmage. Casilli caught it, but went from the 24 back to the 18, loss of 6 on that pass completion, and it's now 3rd down and 24.
Cooper Shoemaker was the defender coming up and making the tackle. And for Casilli, I understand his thinking. There was nothing there on the far side, nothing but defenders around him. The only option he had was to cut back inside and work to the near sideline. However, he did stumble, and Shoemaker right there to collect it.
4 wide set. Cortez drops. Pressure in his face. He'll roll right. Flag down as well. Completes it short to Majewski. And on a 3rd and 24, nowhere near first down yardage, as that's going to be a gain of about 7. I would assume that head coach Matheny is just going to decline this penalty. It looked like holding in the backfield. If he declines it, it'll still be 4th and very long. And that's exactly what happens. Head coach Matheny of the Bethel Park Blackhawks will decline that holding call, so it'll be 4th down and about 17 or so for Peters Township. That's going to force them to bring on the punting unit. And Rob, they really have just gone backwards in this contest.
Yeah, they have. And now at this point, you sense a little bit of defeat. You sense some tired players. You sense as though they don't have the will to work their way back into this game.
Low snap on the punt, but handled well and booted away. Bounces at the 40-yard line and now bounces out of bounds at the 36. That's where Bethel Park will take over on the 31-yard punt. 9:52 remaining in this ball game. Bethel Park back on offense with a 21-point lead now, as UPMC Sports Medicine is excited to once again be partnering with MSA Sports on the UPMC Stay Strong and Play On program. Student athletes will be recognized who remain dedicated to their teams and are determined to return to play while recovering from an injury. UPMC Sports Medicine will be granting 2 $1,000 scholarships at the end of the year to athletes who have managed to stay strong and play on. Nominate an athlete today. Click on the Stay Strong and Play On graphic at www.msasports.net for details. 9:52 remaining. Chisset under center, play action. He'll float one to the left, and he threw it short there. Unable to make the catch was the fullback Luke Matola, and I think Anthony Chisset would like to have that throw back.
And although that one was a little short, Chisset just seems so calm in the pocket. Even whenever he's getting pressure, he takes his steps back and he steps forward and delivers a methodical pass. That time, I just think that was genuinely poor thrown. I don't think it had anything to do with him being nervous or feeling the pressure or that having that mental aspect of throwing the football. That was just a mistake.
He'll go under center again. Single back is Delano. Give to him off the right side. Good block by the tight end. That was Matola lined up there. Delano spins out of a tackle and then is brought down at the 45-yard line, but not before he gained 9 yards to set up a 3rd and 1.
And Andre Williams, the defender for Peters Township, coming up and making the stop.
You could see here it's gotten quieter in the second half. You see a lot of huffing and puffing, especially on the defensive side of the football. Bethel Park, once they got that lead going into halftime, they just simply knew what to do with it. They're taking over the ball game.
It's just too much. Their physical style, pounding the football.
Now a hard count again. Peters Township jumped but got back onside. Delano gets the carry. He is so shifty there. Bounces in between tacklers and across the 50-yard line to the 49. Gain of 7. First down, Bethel Park. Can't wait to see Delano's numbers at the end of this ball game. He's got a ton of yards. And what's incredible to me is Delano, 5'6", 150 pounds. He's listed as a receiver.
172 yards rushing.
There we have it.
Gentleman to my right. What's your name? Chris from Bethel Park, who is keeping their statistics. He's doing a fine job, giving us a lot of information that we need, and telling us that Delano now with 172 yards on the ground. He also has a touchdown.
Can he yell from Jess in the background, too, that Chris is the best?
He is. Thank you, Chris.
So everyone out there knows that. 8:31 left in the ball game, and a whistle blown dead before the play. John Delano, as we just heard, up to 172 yards for Bethel Park. Remember, he caught that touchdown earlier, too, from Sarunas.
Yep.
But I like what you've said, Rob. I mean, this is a sophomore quarterback in the ball game now for Bethel Park. And I love Jeff Matheny getting him in the ballgame, but I love what you said even more. The calmness for a sophomore is just impressive, and he's already pretty big for a sophomore. 6 foot. Looks like he's even taller than that. He's tall and lanky, but you've got Sarunas, a junior, and you've got Chisset, a sophomore. That's got to make you feel comfortable. If you're Bethel Park, you get in a tight situation in a ballgame, you can go with either one.
Yeah, and they both have two different styles, which is what you like. You know, you have the run game from Sarunas, and then you have that passing poise from Chisset, who just seems to be so calm. And when that pressure is on, unlike Cortez, who is working on it at times, has glimpses of greatness, he just seems to shrug off that pressure, and he's willing to accept a hit to make a throw.
Delano, another carry up the middle out of the timeout. Goes from the 48-yard line up to the 45, gain of 3. Chisset gave the handoff to the left, and now he will run over to the sideline to get the play call. Bethel Park 28, Peters Township 7. Nearing 8 minutes of play left in the fourth quarter. Big game here in Class 6A, the Southeastern Conference. Both teams coming in undefeated early in this season. Chisset in the I formation. We'll give to Delano again, this time to the right side. Delano, a cut towards the middle, another cut across the 30. John Delano with a fabulous run. Goes all the way down to the 26-yard line, a gain of 19. Puts him up near or maybe even over 200 yards to this point. He has just been phenomenal here tonight.
He's just making those simple cutbacks. It's that one move. That's all he needs. He works to the right on this particular play, finds the hole, and just plants that right foot, makes that cut back. And these defenders, they're just falling right off him. He's not the biggest individual, standing in at just 5'6", but using that low center of gravity to his advantage.
And why not just go right back to him and look at him push the pile. Got a little help there from his tight end, David Opferman, with a little shove. But
there's a fumble. Delano coughed up the ball, and Peters Township now has possession.
I did not even see that ball come out. He's so low to the ground that you don't really see it squirk out of there. But a fumble for John Delano, the one blemish on his night right there with 7:21 left in the ballgame. He coughs it up on the ground, and Peters Township will take over at their own 19. Good eye there, Rob. It looked like the play had been dead.
It definitely did, and he's lucky that the field position for Peters Township isn't tremendous, and he's lucky he had the skills earlier on in that drive to push all the way down into Peters Township territory, and he's also fortunate his team's up by 21, but that being a small blemish on his tremendous resume today, including close to 200 yards on the ground, a receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown. He's been nothing short of spectacular.
And he got 7 or 8 yards on that run before the ball came out. But Peters Township will take over. Jake Cortez, big number 16 in the gun again. Peterson goes in motion to the right. Majewski to the left of Cortez, taking his time. Will snap and give to Majewski on the right side. Looks for room, but there's not much of it. Opferman, Burks, all in there, but Majewski keeps the legs moving and does actually a nice job to get positive yardage there. Got stopped near the line of scrimmage, but that turns into a 5-yard gain for Peters Township and Ryan Majewski, who has run the football well tonight, and good sign for Peters as he's only a sophomore. Clock under 7 now. 2nd and 5, 25-yard line, and Peters really taking their time on this drive. Maybe just want to see if they can put something together. They do have the 4 turnovers tonight. 2 receivers to the left. Tight end goes in motion in front of Cortez. Give again to Majewski. Majewski ran right now, bounces it left, has some room in front of him and gets across the 30. First down yardage to the 32. On a 7-yard scamper for Ryan Majewski, moves the sticks for the Indians. Now they'll try and hurry it up a little more here. Cortez looks towards the sideline. The play call, Majewski jogs off. Williams will check in. Williams and Majewski, each sophomore running backs. Good complement backs for the Indians. Cortez in the gun. Snaps, gives to Williams now on the left side. Williams breaks a tackle in the backfield, gets up across the 35-yard line, and is brought down right there for a short gain, call it 2.
And the Peters Township student section is still holding on strong.
Yeah.
On the far side, we have the Bethel Park student section who's in attendance as well, and they seem to have 2 different themes going on. Peters Township is a whiteout, and here, right in front of the press box, it seems to be a Pittsburgh theme, a Steelers theme. There for the Bethel Park Blackhawks student section.
NFL back as well. Opening game was last night, Kansas City over New England.
Oh, what a game that was.
Tremendous way to start the season. Steelers open at Cleveland, 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Hopefully don't have any New England Patriots fans here listening to this.
28-7, 5:16 left on the clock. Peters Township will take a timeout. We'll take one as well and be right back as you're listening and watching to 2017 WPIAL football on the MSA Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
Short timeout call for Peters Township back on the MSA Sports Network. I'm Cory Campano. Rob McKinney with me. Jess Levo on camera. 5:16 showing on the scoreboard. Left in this ball game. Peters Township down 21 points, trying to put a drive together here late. They have a 2nd and 7 from their own 35, and Jake Cortez goes in shotgun again. Peterson in motion towards the line. Cortez drops. He'll look to throw. Pressure in his face. Lofts one down the middle, and it is on the wrong shoulder, or over the wrong shoulder, I should say, of Josh Casilli. Coverage was excellent downfield by Bethel Park. Had both safeties deep, and that play really never stood a chance. Incomplete. We'll go to 3rd and 7.
Well, right now, TJ Black is putting the rest of this game into the hands of Cortez. Maybe unrealistic to score 21 points here with 5:10 remaining on the clock. However, Cortez does have the arm. Why not test it? Casilli and him have a good relationship, great connection, have made some pretty big plays already in this game. Why not take a chance to shoot it downfield?
3rd and 7. Cortez pressured right away. No time. He's going to be sacked. He tried to roll out of there and get a pass off, but there was just no chance. Ends up losing a ton of yards there. Went from the 35 all the way back to about the 21 or 22. And again with the sack is number 51 in white, Gavin Vargesco. Shot through the gap there.
Yeah, his 2nd sack here in about a quarter and a half. In the first half, broke through the defense, couldn't bring down a quarterback or running back for a loss. However, in the second half, much better on his part.
Sack loss 13 on the punting unit for Peters Township, and it is away on the punt from Sepich. Cross midfield, bounced out around the 47-yard line, 4.5 left. And Rob, you expect Bethel to just go back to that run game and just try and run this one out? Then do you think that it will be Volpatti and Delano still with the lead?
At this point, I don't believe it will. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see Javon Lewis, who we saw earlier in the game, get some carries. Maybe the fullback, Luke Matola. I think that those guys' days are done, mainly because we did see Delano go down with a cramp. And however, that's not a serious injury.
And he's done enough.
Exactly. He's done more than enough in this game.
And that is Lewis in the backfield, and Chissett's still out there at quarterback for Bethel Park. Give is the Lewis, left side. Keeps the legs moving after he was hit and gets to the 50-yard line, midfield, gain of 3 for Lewis.
And Delano is near side here on the sideline for Bethel Park, getting stretched out once again. This time on the right leg. It was the left leg before.
Bethel Park had led this game 7-0. Peters Township tied it at 7. Bethel went on top. Since that point, they have scored 21 unanswered.
And now entering the game is 5'4" senior Ben Yantic for Bethel Park.
Give there to Lewis. Lewis, hole on the right side, and he runs right through it and then runs over a defender, Andre Williams, across the 40-yard line in Peters Township territory. Nice burst of speed for Lewis and a nice chunk of yardage. Call it 12 and a first down. Everybody rotating in now for Bethel Park. Good to see at the end of the game when you're in a commanding lead as they are. Get everybody a touch. As the clock ticks down to 3.5 and counting, this is going to be a good win for the Bethel Park Blackhawks. They're going to go to 2-0 on the year and 1-0 in this Southeastern Conference. Chisset will give to Lewis to the left side now. Lewis uses that speed, gets to the outside. He's got a lot of room, cuts it back towards the middle, and he's tripped up there around the 20-yard line, but not before a gain of 16 yards. 17 now as they mark it right at the 20, and boy, Javon Lewis is a 5'10" sophomore and looks nothing like a third-string running back.
No, not at all. On most high school teams, he'd probably be the starter. However, there was a lot of competition in front of him, rightfully so. And Luke Mary came in and made that tackle for the Indians. I talked about how this is first year playing high school football, great baseball player and wrestler. He came over and made that stop, which saved the touchdown.
Chisset will give to Lewis again. This time they're all over it, and Lewis brought down hard in the backfield. Nice play and pursuit there by Clayton Scott. We've said his name a couple times on defense now. Big stop and a loss of 5, maybe 6. Push back the Blackhawks. But they have done exactly what they wanted in the second half. They forced two more turnovers in the second half.
And then some.
4 total. And, I mean, you saw the spectacular run by Delano. The run Volpattis was a nice 23-yard scamper. They have really put something together in this second half, and it's been a great ball game. Give now, new running back checks into the ball game, new quarterback as well. As that's Carmen Esposito in at quarterback. And gave to the run, I think it was Sean McGowan.
There's a flag on the play, far side.
That is Sean McGowan who got the carry. 2:02 on the clock, officials discussing a penalty. It will be an upcoming third down for Bethel Park. And penalty goes against Peters Township. Is that a personal foul? I couldn't do personal foul, unsportsmanlike. Couldn't tell what the call was.
However, it's
15
pretty,
yards.
Pretty egregious penalty against
15
Peters
yards
Township.
against Peters. And Rob, I feel like we've said that all night.
Yeah.
With Peters, I mean, I know it's early in the season, but those are things that you could really just change the dynamic of your team by limiting those penalties.
Yep.
That's Esposito back under center. McGowan, the deep tailback in the I formation. Esposito under center. Will snap. Gives to McGowan. McGowan bounces to the right side. Not much room there. Got a couple yards.
Esposito, the sophomore, getting a chance to play here at quarterback. Before that, we saw Chisset.
I don't think I've called too many high school games for the network where we saw 3 quarterbacks get in. A lot of times, especially with the team leading like that, Jeff Matheny rotating some guys in. Sarunas, Chisset, and Esposito all get some snaps. 1:19 remaining in the ball game and counting. 4th and 1. Upcoming for Bethel Park from the 9-yard line in Peters Township territory. I formation again, and Bethel Park will have to take a timeout as they were nearing the delay of game call. Remember that coming up after the game, it's WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show with Don Rebel from the new MSA Sports Control Center. We'll have all the scores and recaps from Week 2. Don't miss the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show after the game, only here on the MSA Sports Network. Rob, a Peters Township graduate, trying his hardest to fight back the tears after this game.
I might need a tissue. No, it's exciting to watch Bethel Park. This team has always been fun to watch in so many different sports, including football. And for Peters Township, they've had a lot of good sports over the course of last season.
Yeah,
their hockey team.
Yeah,
won
phenomenal.
Won the PIHL championships, and then won the Penn's Cup, and then went on and won states. Congratulations to them. I was a hockey player for Peters Township.
Give up the middle to McGowan on 4th and 1. Don't know that he got there. Needed that whole yard. Was on the 9, needed to get to the 8. This may be a turnover. Esposito gave it to McGowan. We'll see what Peters Township does should they get the ball back with a minute left, down 21 points. Do you throw your starters back out there? Don't know that you want to risk injury at this point if you're TJ Plack.
It seems as though, as I see on the far sideline for Peters Township, some new numbers coming in. But for Peters, there's so much you could talk about with the football team over the course of its recent history. Whenever I was in high school around 2011 to 2014, you saw a lot of good running backs. My senior year, there was Marcus Schubringer, who was in the backfield for the Indians. Backing him up was Mark Minjock. He's now at Waynesburg University with me and is one of the best track stars on that Waynesburg University team. They had some electric players, but just couldn't stem together good seasons.
Peters Township is back on offense. Give to the near side running back here, trying to pick up from our vantage point what number that was, and that was number 34 in red. That's Cory Hines that got the carry.
And some other names.
Loses 3 or 4.
Some other names a few years back that were some good standouts. Zach Kirsch was a very good wide receiver for Peters Township. And a few years before my time, there was Andrew Ehrenberg, who was just an absolute nightmare for any opposing defense. He was a running back for Peters. He broke a lot of records for the Indians.
Give again to Hines. Hines off the left side, stopped there after a short gain back to almost the original line of scrimmage, and that's going to do it here tonight. Bethel Park, the victors, 28-7. They beat Peters 28-7 last year as well. Score holds up this time around on the road, and Bethel Park goes to 2-0. 1-0 in the conference. Peters Township will fall to 2-1, 0-1 in the Southeastern Conference. We'll be right back to wrap things up, talk a little bit about what happened in this ball game. And you were listening and watching to 2017 WPIAL football. Be right back here on the MSA Sports Network.
AstroTurf, a pioneer in sports surfacing, proudly supports high school athletics. Visit one of their 280 fields in the tri-state area to see their cutting-edge technology. AstroTurf's focus on R&D enables them to provide innovative surfaces that protect athletes and stand the test of time. AstroTurf now propels performance with iconic turf fields and legendary Record-Tan tracks. They manufacture, build, and maintain a full range of turf and track systems for total quality control. Learn more at astroturf.com. For the most complete recap of Friday night's WPIAL football action, tune in on your way home from the game to the MSA Sports Scoreboard Show here on the MSA Sports Network. Hi, I'm Don Rebel. Join me in the MSA Sports Gang for all the scores and recaps from the top games, plus the MSA Sports Roundtable. That's the MSA Sports Scoreboard Show after the game on Friday nights on the MSA Sports Network and at msasports.net.
Back on the MSA Sports Network.
MSA Sports
28-7. Our final here. Bethel Park over Peters Township. A nice win for them. Rob's got the scoring recap for you. Let's run down exactly what happened in this ball game that led the Blackhawks to victory.
Well, Bethel Park opened up the scoring in the first half. Serenas with a 15-yard touchdown pass to Delano. The extra point was good. They led 7-0. The next score didn't come until 10:58 in the second quarter. Peters Township, a 36-yard touchdown pass from Cortez to Korcher off the hands of the wide receiver Peterson. A fluke play, but nonetheless resulting in a touchdown for Peters Township, and the score was tied at 7. Later on in the second quarter at the 5:49 mark, Bethel Park's Volpatti, an 11-yard touchdown run, but an extra point was good, made the score 14-7. Scoring did not continue until middle part of the third quarter on an 83-yard touchdown run from Delano. The extra point was good, took the lead of 21-7. And after couple more drives, Delano was able to eclipse 200 yards on the ground and receiving 2 total touchdowns. The only blemish, a fumble that we saw. And the final score in this game came at the 11:46 mark in the fourth quarter. It was a 23-yard touchdown run from Volpatti, his second touchdown, rushing touchdown of the day. The extra point was good. The final score, 28-7. Bethel Park came away victorious here at Peters Township High School.
2 touchdowns for Volpatti on the ground, 1 running and 1 catching for Delano. Delano over 200 yards, might have been over 250 catching and receiving. We'll have to check the final numbers, but Bethel Park, again, goes to 2-0 on the season, 1-0 in the Southeastern Conference. Peters Township falls to 2-1, 0-1 in this Southeastern Conference. Bethel Park next week, another conference game. They play at home against Norwin. Norwin 1-1 on the season, 1-0 in the conference. They had